It's good now. All right, ready?
Cool. All right.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, guys?
Howdy.
We're back.
Well, hold on. Welcome to Thrill Quest Podcast, episode number 3.
Were you gonna say throat quest?
I just feel awkward today for some reason. I don't know why.
Because we got a special
Yeah.
guest, man.
Yeah. Who?
Yeah.
New topics.
Who's the new guest?
I don't know. We'll let the people listening guess who's new.
We'll have.
See if people are actually watching
Okay, we'll.
Or paying attention.
or paying attention.
Yeah. So welcome to Thrill Quest Podcast. Thank you
Appreciate
for joining us. Today we have Hugo.
Yes. So I am Hugo Casaonda. Instagram, you can find me as the health engineer and Coach Hugo something or another. Yeah, thrilled to be here. Aha.
Yeah, thrill. This guy's punny.
Yeah.
That's funny. And then we have Julio.
How's it going?
He's back. We got Christian.
What's up?
And then we have a special guest in the back who's just going to be observing for today, but we might bring him in.
He wants
Next
to
time.
remain anonymous.
Yeah. He's going to be the Jamie for today without a computer, so he's just going to,
It's just gonna be knowledge in his head.
yeah,
It's everything that he knows.
keeping it old school.
So,
But,
you
yeah,
go.
and this, go ahead, Julio, you can start it off.
Yeah. Well, first thing to start off, I want to do a can open.
yes.
All right.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
There we go.
Nice.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Or man.
What do we got today? Some Focus Aid, a little caffeine.
Yeah, some fitness, fit aids.
Yeah. Thanks, Hugo.
Yep.
But yeah,
Cool. Yeah. So I've listened. I mean, I think I'm the only one that didn't really know you, like in person before today. And I think one of the things that they've told me about and that really has stuck out is your fitness journey.
Yes.
And I wanted to see if we can kind of like dive a little bit into that. Maybe where you were, where you're at now. What made you want to make a change? What was the hardest thing about your change? Like in your routine, your lifestyle and stuff,
Yeah.
and what really enabled you to get from where you were like to where you're at now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just like whatever comes to your mind, dive into that, and then go on.
Yeah. All right. So I won't put it. I won't sugarcoat it because back in the day I probably would have ate it. So I was just fat. I was 270 pounds. This is my time in college, so stress and what have you. So my last year in college, I was 270, and I had like one of those moments, an epiphany, if you will. I was in my capstone class, and I was taking notes, and I lost my pen. It was like everybody has a favorite pen, right, and whatnot. Right. So I'm looking around the class. I can't find it. So I was like, all right, I lost it. So I get up and I adjust my pants, and the pen rolls out of one of my rolls. Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just funny. Dude. I picture the whole thing. Anyway,
Tough
Yeah.
realization.
Yeah. So after that, right, other things happened. I graduated, looking for a job. This is around 2008. Yeah, it's been a while. So started the journey, and I have no idea. The internet is somewhat new in 2008. There's not a lot of forums. I guess bodybuilding.com was one of the biggest forums, but
Sure.
it was just supplements.
Yeah.
So I did the first thing that came to mind. It was eat less and move more. And for the longest time, it sucked. I started going to the gym, and I hated it. I didn't know anybody. It was just intimidating, all the weights clanking and whatnot. And I fell in love with one of the treadmills. I was like, all right, I'll just start running. Started running. And I remember indistinctively when I got my first mile nonstop. And that was like a big hooray. With that, I got addicted to running. I moved to South Carolina. One of my coworkers was a runner. And I started running. It was 20, 30 miles a week. And I did it for the longest time. And I ended up being kind of a skinny fat kind of approach. So I was thin but not cut. It was just weird. Anywho,
what were you doing where's South Carolina?
South Carolina, Rock Hill.
Okay, what were you doing there?
Work. I found my grown-up job.
Oh,
So
yeah?
I moved out there.
Oh, okay.
First year I was by myself. So it was rough. So anywho, South Carolina, running. I did my first half marathon. Then I moved to Fresno, California, and that's when I did my first full marathon. A couple years later, around 2016, 2017, I discovered a podcast and actually opened my eyes that lifting is probably better for your metabolic rate than running. Long story short, I started lifting, and that has helped me maintain that 100-pound loss. As far as the nutrition side of things, it's been rough because during those 10 years, you learn about keto, you learn about carnivore, well, that's more recent, or low carb, and there's so many options out there that nothing really stuck. And unfortunately, with the running and all that, I was just eating less. And it wasn't until recently, maybe the last 4 or 5 years, that I started actually incorporating more of that nutrition side of things than before. And I'm prioritizing protein, managing my carbs, eating enough fat, because low fat can actually harm you as well. And in the last 5 years, I probably have never felt as good as I have in the past until now. And I'm 43. And
Can't
That's
tell,
awesome.
man.
That's awesome.
I'm the oldest. So at 43, 42, 43, I have felt the best I have since my 20s and 30s. And I just feel great. And it's one thing when you feel or think that you feel great, and then you discover this next level. And that's where I'm at. That every time that I get better, I feel better. Yes, I do suffer from joint pain because 10 years of 100 pounds on my joints, do feel it. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now, and that's how I have managed to keep 100 pounds off since the brute force approach.
I gotcha. Cool. Yeah. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for that input. Going back a little bit into when you were mentioning like skinny fat and stuff. I know that there is like a difference when you're just doing a lot of cardio. You aren't really eating, like meeting those like protein requirements, other requirements like your macros and all of that. Does your nutrition contribute like a lot to being in that skinny fat state, or is it more of like, are you just doing cardio, or are you lifting, or are you incorporating like a balance? Because I think there's a lot of people that like do suffer from, you know, being overweight and stuff like that. But I do think at the same time, there's a lot of people that think they're healthy, but they like aren't because they're in that skinny fat, right? And I've read studies that it's like it actually puts you at like a higher degree of like cardiovascular disease if you are in that skinny fat, because you don't have like the muscle, right? So I don't know. What do you think on that?
Yeah, so absolutely. So going back to the skinny fat approach, right? So there's a lot of things, like when I was running and I was in that skinny fat phase, I'm sure I can put money on it. I didn't measure my blood panel at the time, but I bet you my testosterone, my hormones were all out of whack because I'm in this high cortisol. I need to go for a 2-3 hour run
Right.
to feel better. And then I was eating like lettuce and chicken,
Yeah.
which is, there's no nutrition on that. And going back to skinny fat and cardio and weightlifting, the best way to describe this is like your metabolism is a smart engine, if you want to think about it that way. If you're running a lot, if you're doing a lot of cardio, you turn into this hybrid kind of engine. So the engine gets smaller and you can outperform a lot in the long bouts of energy, right? Like running for a long time, because your body gets used to conserving energy and being efficient with it. So it's not wasteful. That's why a lot of people with the skinny fat, they move a lot, they run a lot, and they eat too little, and they still gain fat. And they don't gain muscle, right? So that is the approach of metabolism. If you're doing cardio, your engine, your burning engines shortens. So it gets smaller. It's a hybrid. It's a Prius, if you want to think of it that way.
So you're basically training your body to be more efficient with what with what you're giving it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
There was a study with one of the Hadza tribes in Africa, and they're hunter-gatherers, and they go out there and run and kill and carry things, so they move a lot. They measured the metabolic rate, and it was about 2,000 calories a day.
Okay.
So, and we don't move that much here.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely not.
so with that, so hybrid engine, cardio, that's how I associate it. And if you want to be more wasteful, because America is like there's plenty of food everywhere and it's so easy to overeat, you want a big diesel engine, and that's where muscle comes in. Muscle is very wasteful, so that's why when you see marathon runners, they're like tiny, right? And then how many bodybuilders have you heard? Oh yeah, I eat 7,000 calories a day and barely maintain. It's because of that, because muscle is expensive. It's calorie expensive to keep.
Right.
So that is where it's not so much about the exercise, but how you maintain your engine.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Oscar? I mean, I know you do a lot of like a combination of those, right? You lift and you do a lot of like cardio with your swimming, jujitsu, and stuff. And you too, Christian. Like eating. Have you ever gotten to a point where like you eat better and you feel like you gain more versus not, or?
Energy wise, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So whenever I do, it's really hard. Like you're saying, it's really hard to actually eat properly and maintain that calorie intake. Especially terrible eating habits. I mean, so half the time,
Yeah.
way under eating all the time.
I'm right.
But when I do,
I'm right there too.
Right? Dude, it's so hard. But when
Well, you
I
tell me you
do-
eat all those stuff at your work all the time.
Yeah.
Your junk food.
Junk
Oh.
food, dude.
Yeah.
It
Come
is
on.
what it is.
Come on.
That's why he works out so
those
hard.
Rice
Yeah,
Krispies,
I know.
bro. Those.
But when you do change your diet, doesn't it kind of give you more energy or the ability to like do more physically? Like that's kind of how I feel. I don't know. Maybe I'm not
It
saying
does.
it as smart, but that's
It does. It does.
it's just the way I feel it.
It does, because lately I've been feeling like really like shitty.
Like sluggish, right? Dude?
At work, but the reason is because if I'm in the office, everyone's just eating. They bring snacks. They got chips, and it's just hard, bro. When you don't have any
So
tickets coming
good,
in,
man.
you don't know what to. You can only listen to so many audiobooks and podcasts, throughout the day, in my opinion. So what else do you go? You do
Food. So
eat.
it's not even
And-
that you're hungry.
You're
it's
depressed
that
eating?
You're depressed.
You're just bored. Yeah.
Bored eating.
Which is crazy because a lot of people have that issue. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's the number one issue for the reason why people overeat and
Yeah.
do things, right?
Well, yeah, that too. And also like people. Some people eat because they're stressed out too,
They're
right? Or like
stress
they're
eaters.
just.
So the whole thing of stress eating or bored eating is because when you eat, there's like this dopamine release thingy that you feel good right after or during, right? So there's times I've been here. I call myself a pantry goblin because I'll eat it in the pantry, right?
In the pen, you don't
At
even, it doesn't even
midnight
leave
when
them.
everyone's asleep, so they don't see my bed, huh?
So it's kind of like for me, it's Oreos. So I'll be eating Oreos. I'm eating it, and I'm thinking about the next one. Well, it's still,
Question: milk or no milk?
No
Just-
milk.
Oh,
Golden.
And you just dry, bro.
It's dark.
Dry.
It's
Dry?
dark with the light off.
get out! Get out!
Just raw dog, Oreos.
I have a problem. No, but it's food. Prepackaged food is manufactured, engineered in a way to be addicting. That's
Yeah.
why Lay's or that chip company says you can't have only one.
Yeah.
Because they've done the saltiness, the crunchy,
That is
the
true.
flavor, and it's been engineered for you not to stop.
They're killing us, boys. They're killing us.
I was listening to, I think it's called The Atomic Habits or something like that. A book. I
Yeah.
forgot the name of the book. Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
And it's funny how you bring that up, because he was the narrator or the author was talking about that, how they put so much time into like chips. Like it's not only the taste, it's the crunch, the proper crunch, the texture, the color.
Oh, well, they're catering to like all your senses.
Everything
Yeah.
has to
Crazy.
do.
Yeah,
With,
yeah.
Let's get you addicted. Another drug, dude.
Well, you have to think about it, right? If
Cheetos, bro.
if you relate more items to that one thing, then more items like out in the real world will remind you of that one thing. So like the smell of the chips, the sound of the bag, like whatever the color of the bag, like the Lay's, the yellow.
Yep. Yep. A perfect example is movie popcorn.
Yeah, yeah,
You smell
Yeah.
it, and you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
How it makes you feel.
yeah.
So the taste of it, they hijack your senses, right?
Yeah.
Because you smell popcorn and you get that sense of sitting down and
Yeah,
relaxing.
and then I gotta get a soda.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
You want to get the biggest one because you just
Yeah,
pay
you
less
Can't
for
have
more.
a little bag. Yeah.
I'll get the little bag when I go to the movies with my kids, and before the
You're wasting money, bro.
Dude. Yeah.
Dude, it's an outing. It doesn't happen that often. So I'll get the kids bag, right?
Yeah.
Before the movie starts, that bag is empty.
Dang.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is.
Oh
yeah,
my
with the butter.
goodness.
So on
Yeah,
the
the fake butter.
But then so this is what I do. I'll get the popcorn. I'll get a tray so I can put some of the popcorn in the tray and evenly split the butter. Dang, what a fat ass, huh? I was like,
That's smart, bro.
that way it's just not on the top. and
just
then you
not.
have
Yeah,
bread.
I have buttered like
No
2
butter.
layers of butter for the popcorn that I'm getting. So it's like,
My distribution is gonna be normal.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You guys
so.
need to get on my level. I get nachos and then I dip the popcorn in the cheese.
That's too much,
And
bro. That's
Dang,
too far, bro.
brother.
I was gonna say just add M&Ms to the popcorn. Brings it up a notch.
Make sure you bring a lighter to melt the M&Ms.
You're in the back,
Talking about food being addicting.
right?
I bring my rusty spoon
Rusty
and my
spoon, this
lighter.
guy's in the back of the theater, and you'd only sit in the back.
Jamie, pull out the M&Ms.
I think I remember reading a thing where it was like you would have to eat one peanut M&M. Right, oh, so you eat one peanut M&M, and in order for you to burn off the calories that it gives you, you have to walk the length of a football field.
For
Maybe.
one M&M?
One peanut
Bro,
M&M.
I could kill
I
a whole
think,
bag with this.
I think I had. Let me look it up. I do want to look that up actually.
Yeah.
So,
No, oh.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
grab your phone.
Yeah.
Ooh, sweet.
is there any like snacks or things that you, besides the Oreos, that you carry like as a habit that you
I
need
have it
to
in my
have?
pocket. No, sorry.
No,
No.
no. Or did you break pretty much all your old habits for the most part?
Yeah. So most of them are gone, right? It's kind of like before being brought up in a Mexican household. Everything had a tortilla,
Gotta have the tortilla.
and it was just leaving that and prioritizing protein. So right now my food looks about, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 pounds of meat a day, more or less, and that's barely giving me the protein, 1 gram per pound of body weight that I need. So any adult should be eating more than 1 pound of meat.
Do you think it would be selfish to replace a birthday cake with a steak for kids?
No,
No?
they will know the difference.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Because that's crazy how Christmas, like every holiday, birthdays, everything, we celebrate with a bunch of junk food and we feel like crap. You know? But why is that? What did that come? Is that like U.S.? Do you know if that's like U.S., like the culture, or did it come from like just the fact that the U.S. is a lot of cultures just.
Most of the holidays and festivities will revolve about, that was me. Will revolve around food, right? That's how we celebrate. So the way that I see it is on Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays. If you're gonna have cake, have it, but don't buy it or don't prepackage it. Don't get Oreos like I did, and just enjoy the company, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't have those relationships with your kids, with your wife, let me go back a little bit. So back in the day, I was keto, and my little one, he might have been 5, 6 years old, and he had like candy or something, and he tried to give me the candy. I was like, no. How does that kid feel? It's like, oh, I'm doing something bad. Exactly, right? So
Shoved it in your mouth and make you eat them.
So there's a lot of, it's not just the macros, it's not just protein, fats, carbs. There's a lot of social stigma or social acceptance of you should do this, you should not do this. But now with my kids, when they see me eat a bunch of meat, I just finished carnivore. They're always asking like, why don't you have anything else? I just don't want it. Plain and simple. There's no, it's not, you're not going to be telling a kid, oh, it makes you fat. It makes me feel blah, 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 right? It's just, I just don't want it at this point, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the things about like trying to get healthy for people that people can struggle with is sometimes like diet culture or like health culture can be like slightly toxic.
Yeah.
Meaning that it can like instill like all these negative feelings towards food, and then you end up just like shutting out it all, and then you like stop your progress.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like they make it be very like all or nothing.
Yes.
You either eat perfect every day for every single meal for like years, or you're a failure.
Yes.
And you're gonna keep that weight on forever.
Yes.
And I think that's very unfortunate. I think it's kind of shitty.
It is, and then it brings people into this. I call it the fuck it, kind of like fuck it all kind of pill, right?
Yeah.
Because like going back to the keto example, because I went through this a couple times. Is like, all right, I made all fat and protein, and then I have a cookie. Like, oh, I already screwed it up, so the whole week is done. Right, so I just screw my progress instead of being more realistic. I know Mark Bell says you're only your next meal away from getting back on track.
Right.
So for that instance, you had the cookie. What now? You're off the diet. You're like, all right, nothing happened. I can just go back at it again.
Yeah.
There's no self-punishment for it. There's no guilt around it. It's just it happened, and that's it.
That's true. I actually follow one of his. It wasn't his programs, but he pretty much helped me lose weight for a tournament because I was gonna compete at 155. And one thing I took from him was he said, just don't overeat. Just eat what you're gonna eat. Make sure you know it's nutritious. But at the same time, like it could be like huevo con chorizo and stuff like that, you know. Like, but don't overeat. Just eat what you're gonna eat, and then, you know, you don't have to, like you said, strictly just eat a carrot and you know, I don't know.
And look at an almond and lick a carrot, call it good.
But I noticed different. Not only not only did I feel good, but at the same time I was losing weight like every day, just training and eating how he told me to eat, and it was good. And it's crazy because people are paying, you know, hundreds and I don't know if thousands of dollars to get in shape because they go to like these like group exercise, you know, clubs, whatever. And that's cool, you know. Go work out for an hour, for 30 minutes. But the way they promise that they're going to lose weight is by, okay, you have to eat 5, 6, 7 times a day, and you can only eat rice and chicken, and that's all they eat every day. And then, you know, after a month or 2 months, yeah, they lose all that weight. But once it stopped, they gain that weight back. Because why is it? Because it's
discipline, man.
Hold that thought, my bladder.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
All right. Cool. Anyways, but yeah, what?
I think it's discipline, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be.
What's?